Hare Krishna. Somebody can please lead the invocation prayers.
Can I try, Prabhuji?
Go ahead.
ॐ अज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकाय चक्षुरुन्मीलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरुवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूप कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकं। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरु श्रीयुतपदकमलं श्रीगुरुवैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहगण रघुनाथान्वितं सजीवं साद्वैतं सवधूतं परिजन्यसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधाकृष्णपादां सहगण ललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितंश्च। हे कृष्ण करुणा सिंधु दीनबंधु जगतपते गोपिसे गोपिका कांता राधा कांता नमस्तुते। तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुत देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये। वंशकल्पतरुपस्य कृपा सिन्धुभैव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्तवृंदा। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय, ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय, ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय।
Hare Krishna. Thank you all for coming to listen and read Srila Prabhupada and Krishna's instructions, and thank you in advance for applying these teachings in your respective lives. Today we'll discuss inquiries submitted by you all on Nectar of Instruction, text number 3 and 4. We have quite a few inquiries today because we had one missed class. Question number 1. What is the difference between spiritual and ritual? Do the terms religion and ritual have same meaning? Are rituals necessary to progress in spirituality? Or can spirituality exist independently? So, on our YouTube channel, I will bring up on screen from my side, and you can search by yourself also. I will show you now. So your view could be slightly different than my view, but I will walk you through that. On the YouTube channel, go under playlist and you can search for Canto 2. There are two ways to search. Either you can scroll through or you can search here by Canto 2, Srimad Bhagavatam, and you'll get three, potentially you may get two. The search is not the greatest in YouTube. So go to Canto 2, Srimad Bhagavatam, where the philosophy is discussed, and then you click videos and you scroll to class recording number 43 of December 14th, and you'll see in the description where I have answered this question already about religion versus spirituality. So you just scroll through the Canto 2 class recording number 43 and listen to the recording. It's about last 30 minutes or so discussion on religion versus spirituality. So right now, I will anyway post the link in the chat for you all. for this recording, you can just save the the link, and you can listen to it when time permits as an answer to this question. So for batch 5 Srimad Bhagavatam class recording on this Sunday, I'll be sharing the same lecture to listen to as the next lecture in sequence. And if the discussion doesn't answer the inquiry, then you can please bring the question again. So as Deepa just joined, I will post the YouTube link again for the answer to question number 1. Deepak and everybody can please save the link. Question number 2. Could you guide me on how to purify or remove eternal desire that stems from past karma? So very good practical inquiry. In Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 4, Chapter 22, verse 39, we'll soon read that. Srila Prabhupada explains the hard knotted desires are compared to waves or currents of river. The current or the force of waves is very strong, meaning the force of the hard knotted material desires is very strong. Hence, we have this question. So, karmis, jnanis, they try very hard, but because the waves of sense gratification is so very strong, therefore many fail. An example of the current flowing Ganga river is very strong, exactly like the force of hard knotted material desires. But when Ganga is flowing to the ocean and reaches the ocean, Ganga is actually pushed back, and Ganga cannot disturb the ocean. So devotional service and preaching is the solution to cut the hard knotted desires. And the same point we have discussed for those who have attended Bhagavatam, we have discussed in Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 1, Chapter 2, verses 16 to 22, where the whole process is described, that hearing Srimad Bhagavatam is the process to elevate yourself on the path of spirituality. So we'll read Canto 1, Chapter 2, those verses as well right now, where the whole sequence is given. That the starting point is by serving devotees, one gets the affinity to hear the message of Vasudeva. So let me bring up Canto 1, Chapter 2, verses 15 to 21. We'll read the translation, where the whole process is described. Many of these verses are key memorization verses. Right now, we won't recite those. But you can try to memorize. Many of them are key memorization verses. My spiritual master has actually said that this Canto 1, Chapter 2, one should memorize the entire chapter. It's that important a chapter. Ria, verse 15 to 21, translations.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Text 15. With sword in hand, intelligent men cut through the binding knots of reactionary work, karma, by remembering the personality of Godhead. Therefore, who will not pay attention to his message? Text 16. O twice born sages, by serving those devotees who are completely freed from all vice, great service is done. By such service, one gains affinity for hearing the messages of Vasudeva. Text 70. Sri Krishna, the personality of Godhead, who is the Paramatma, Supersoul, in everyone's heart and the benefactor of the truthful devotee, cleanses desire for material enjoyment from the heart of the devotee who has developed the urge to hear his messages, which are in themselves virtuous when properly heard and chanted. Text 18. By regular attendance in classes on the Bhagavatam and by rendering of service to the pure devotee, all that is troublesome to the heart is almost completely destroyed, and loving service unto the personality of Godhead, who is praised with transcendental songs, is established as an irrevocable fact. Text 19. As soon as irrevocable loving service is established in the heart, the effects of nature's modes of passion and ignorance, such as lust, desire, and hankering, disappear from the heart. Then the devotee is established in goodness, and he becomes completely happy. Text 20. Thus, established in the mode of unalloyed goodness, the man whose mind has been enlivened by contact with devotional service to the Lord gains positive scientific knowledge of the personality of Godhead in the stage of liberation from all material association. Text 21. Thus, the knot in the heart is pierced, and all misgivings are cut to pieces. The chain of fruit of actions is terminated when one sees the self as master. Hare Krishna.
Right, so the verse started with hard knot. Who will not hear this message? Well, if you are interested to cut the binding knots, then hear this message and the process given that step one is by serving the devotees, you get the affinity to hear Krishna Katha. And that service continues this way. Krishna cleanses by regular attendance in Bhagavatam and serving the Bhagavata. You get cleansed and the service gets established in your heart. Without serving the devotees, that service attitude cannot be established. And then again comes verse 21. The whole sequence is given. This way, the knotted heart is pierced, and all misgivings in the heart are cut to pieces. So this is the first part. We'll now read Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 4, Chapter 22, verse 39, translation and purport, that devotional service and preaching is the solution to cut the hard knotted desires. Pratyush, we have 4:22:39 on the screen, translation and purport.
Hare Krishna. Translation: the devotees who are always engaged in the service of the toes of the lotus feet of the Lord can very easily overcome hard knotted desires for fruitive activities. Because this is very difficult, the non devotees, the jnanis and yogis, although trying to stop the waves of sense gratification, cannot do so. Therefore, you are advised to engage in the devotional service of Krishna, the son of Vasudeva. Purport: there are three kinds of transcendentalists trying to overcome the influence of the modes of material nature: the jnanis, the yogis, and bhaktas. All of them attempt to overcome the influence of the senses, which is compared to the incessant waves of a river. The waves of a river flow incessantly, and it is very difficult to stop them. Similarly, the waves of desire for material enjoyment are so strong that they cannot be stopped by any process other than bhakti yoga. The bhaktas, by their transcendental devotional service unto the lotus feet of the Lord, become so overwhelmed with transcendental bliss that automatically their desires for material enjoyment stop. The jnanis and yogis who are not attached to the lotus feet of the Lord simply struggle against the waves of desire. They are described in this verse as rikta mataya, which means devoid of devotional service. In other words, the jnanis and yogis, although trying to be free from the desires of material activities, actually become more and more entangled in false philosophical speculation or strenuous attempts to stop the activities of the senses. As stated previously, Vasudeva Bhagavati Bhakti Yoga Prayojita Janayati Asu Vedagyam Jnanam Cha Yad Ahetukam. Here also the same point is stressed. Bhaja Vasudevam indicates that one who is engaged in the loving service of Krishna, the son of Vasudeva, can very easily stop the waves of desires. As long as one continues to try to artificially stop the waves of desires, he will certainly be defeated. That is indicated in this verse. Desires for fruitive activities are strongly rooted, but the trees of desire can be uprooted completely by devotional service because devotional service employs superior desire. One can give up inferior desires when engaged in superior desires. To try to stop desires is impossible. One has to desire the supreme in order not to be entangled in inferior desires. Gyanis maintain a desire to become one with the supreme, but such desire is also considered to be kama, lust. Similarly, the yogis desire mystic power, and that is also kama. And the bhaktas, not being desirous of any sort of material enjoyment, become purified. There is no artificial attempt to stop desire. Desire becomes a source of spiritual enjoyment under the protection of the toes of the lotus feet of the Lord. It is stated herein by the Kumaras that the lotus feet of Lord Krishna are the ultimate reservoir of all pleasure. One should therefore take shelter of the lotus feet of the Lord instead of trying unsuccessfully to stop desires for material enjoyment. As long as one is unable to stop the desire for material enjoyment, there is no possibility of becoming liberated from the entanglement of material existence. It may be argued that the waves of a river are incessantly flowing and that they cannot be stopped, but the waves of the river flow towards the sea. When the tide comes over the river, it overwhelms the flowing of the river, and the river itself becomes overflooded. Then the waves from the sea become more prominent than the waves from the river. Similarly, a devotee with intelligence plans so many things for the service of the Lord in Krishna consciousness that stagnant material desires become overflooded by the desire to serve the Lord. As confirmed by Yamunacharya, since he has been engaged in the service of the lotus feet of the Lord, there is always a current of newer and newer desires flowing to serve the Lord. So much so that the stagnant desire of sex life becomes very insignificant. Yamunacharya even says that he spits on such desires. Bhagavad Gita 2.59 also confirms Param Drishtva Nivartate. The conclusion is that by developing a loving desire for the service of the lotus feet of the Lord, we subdue all material desires for sense gratification. Hare Krishna.
Right, so the analogy is given of the river flowing into the ocean. The river is very powerful. The Ganga is flowing very, very powerfully. But when the river reaches the ocean, so the river gets pushed back because the ocean is already fully satisfied. And clearly the question said about this point that it is very difficult to stop the force of material desires. And devotional service is the solution. Throughout the purport, Prabhupada explains. By devotional service, you develop higher taste. It says, 2.59, Param Drishtva Nivartate. And you develop higher taste. And this is how the lower taste goes away. Does that answer the inquiry? All right, thank you. Question number 3. We have removed this materialistic individual, an extended family member, from our lives. He has done the unimaginable. For the past 4 years, he has caused us so much misery. Now he is seeking forgiveness. How should we respond? So we have discussed in Bhagavad Gita chapter 4 verse 16, 17, 18, the karma discussion verses, that when someone does something wrong to us, the other person is just an instrument to manifest my own bad karma. So if at all you want to become angry, then become angry on your own mind and senses, so that at least on a go-forward basis, the mind and senses do not indulge in activities causing similar situation in future. So one should forgive the wrongdoer and simultaneously do not start trusting this person. Forgiveness is for you to give, and trust is for the other person to build. Forgiveness is a quality of those advancing in spiritual knowledge. So I'll repeat this statement. The key word is advancing and not advanced. So I'll repeat this sentence, that forgiveness is a quality for those who are advancing in spiritual knowledge. So I'm pretty sure we all are trying to advance. So this is for us to forgive others. So we'll soon read that Krishna himself is giving this instruction to Prithu Maharaj in Srimad Bhagavatam 4.20.3. So Prithu Maharaj is also an incarnation of God. So we have to practice forgiveness when situations become available on their own. So I'll bring up 420.3. We'll read translation and purport, as well as 420.4, where Krishna says that if you do not forgive, then your spiritual advancement is a waste of time. So I have 4.20.3. Diksha, are you able to read translation and purport?
Yes, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna. O King, one who is advanced in intelligence and eager to perform welfare activities for others is considered best amongst human beings. An advanced human being is never malicious to others. Those with advanced intelligence are always conscious that this material body is different from the soul. Purport: in daily life, we find that when a madman commits murder, he is excused even by a high court judge. The idea is that the living entity is always pure because he is part and parcel of Supreme Personality of Godhead. When he falls into the clutches of material energy, he becomes a victim of the three modes of material nature. Indeed, whatever he does under the influence of material nature. As stated in Bhagavad Gita 5.14, the embodied spirit, master of the city of his body, does not create activities, nor does he induce people to act, nor does he create the fruits of action. All this is enacted by the modes of material nature. Actually, the living entity or soul does not do anything. Everything is done under the influence of the modes of material nature. When a man is diseased, the symptoms of the disease becomes a source of all kinds of pain. Those who are advanced in transcendental consciousness or Krishna consciousness are never envious, neither of the soul nor of the activities of the soul under the influence of material nature. Advanced transcendentalists are called Sudhiya. Sudhi means intelligence, Sudhi means highly advanced, and Sudhi means devotee. One who is both devoted and highly advanced in intelligence does not take action against the soul or the body. If there is any discrepancy, he forgives. It is said that forgiveness is a quality of those who are advancing in spiritual knowledge. Hare Krishna.
Diksha, read 424 translation.
Okay. Translation. If a personality like you, who are so much advanced because of executing the instruction of the previous acharyas, is carried away by the influence of my material energy, then all your advancement may be considered simply a waste of time.
Very good. So if you do not forgive, then whatever spiritual advancement you have done is simply a waste of time. And in 4.20.3, we just read, this Krishna is speaking this verse, that if there is any discrepancy, we should forgive. Forgiveness is a quality of those who are advancing in spiritual knowledge. Does that answer the inquiry? Although one devotee has asked, I'm pretty sure situations similar may happen for others
Yes,
also.
Prabhuji. Thank you.
Thank you. Everybody on the same page? All right. Thank
Yes,
you.
Prabhuji.
Question number 4. There are non-devotees in my life who are extremely kind and benevolent. How do I not honor them or not have emotional exchange with them? Is it not possible to balance having selected non-devotee people in our lives and having a good devotee association? So when Nectar of Instruction text number 2 says drop materialistic association, it is referring to those who have materialistic mindset in dealings with you. You can please continue to maintain good relations with those described in the question and give them prasad, give them books, and give them your association, and simultaneously also maintain devotee association. So nowhere it says that we have to drop our friends and family in the name of Krishna consciousness. No, nowhere it says that. But somebody is pure materialistic, which is hindering your spirituality, then you have to look at Nectar of Instruction text number 2. Otherwise, no, they are your friends and family. You have to have respectful emotional exchanges, but more so give your association to them. Does that help with the inquiry? Thank you. Question number 5. If one has studied yoga and meditation, then can one dovetail that to Krishna's service? Does it then become devotional service? Please clarify. So devotional service means serving Krishna favorably as Krishna desires. Anukulena Krishna Anushilanam. So yoga means connecting with the Supreme Lord. Bodily exercises called as yoga in the material world is not the real meaning of yoga. You can dovetail your abilities in Krishna's service, but the yoga, the bodily exercise on itself, is not actually the yoga of connecting with the Lord. Does that help with the inquiry?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Question number 6. Like the chanting discussion, is it also true that whatever other devotional services we are doing without initiation has less efficacy? You are correct. All devotional activities such as chanting, reading, services, etc., done before initiation, yes, they are devotional services, but with less benefit as compared to the benefit after initiation. So all of you start thinking on the lines of getting initiated, or at least taking a bona fide spiritual master as your Siksha Guru to get guidance. Question number 7. Enthusiasm means to show commitment towards service. Sometimes, initially, some may show more enthusiasm and take on more than their capacity, knowingly or unknowingly. How does one sustain it or balance it, especially as neophytes? So, this is a constant tug of war. To follow a balanced approach, maintain a sadhana card and set daily goals for reading, chanting, services, and try to maintain those goals, doing each of these tasks daily. Now understand that there may be special days or emergency where one may have to take on more services and your schedule may not follow exactly what you have planned. But such emergencies cannot be every day. Now, one time I was at the temple. The pujari who was supposed to do the next Gopinath Aarti, the pujari fell down and had to be taken to the hospital by ambulance just before the Gopinath worship time. And so I called temple council. I said, this is what has happened. The Aarti time is just coming up. What do you want me to do? Temple council asked me to go in the temple ashram and ask someone to do the Gopinath service. Now the temple ashram devotee, he said he has already done the service for the day. But then I put the temple council on the speaker phone and we had to convince this ashram devotee that there is an emergency. The pujari had to be taken to hospital by ambulance. So there is a real emergency here. So he had to quickly take shower and get ready for Gopinath service. So these are emergencies which cannot happen every day. If it's happening every day, then there's a problem. Simultaneously, understand that do not be very rigid with your goals on the sadhana card. Rather be flexible. So goal should be to meet the goal every day. But sometimes you may have to do your endeavor in the morning, sometime in the afternoon, sometime in the evening. So have that flexibility rather than being rigid. No, morning 8 o'clock, I have to finish my endeavor and sadhana. No. Don't be that rigid. Sometimes you have to adjust for Krishna's service. Does that help with the inquiry? All right, thank you. Question number 8. For Pratikranati, it is very difficult for me. I do not like accepting gifts or help from relatives, devotees, or sometimes even from my own sisters, because I immediately feel very indebted to them. In the case of devotees, I feel that by asking for help, I am troubling them instead of giving service. I am taking service from them. So is it good to be like this? So Nectar of Instruction, text number 4, where the 6 loving exchanges are described, is not on give and take, is not on a business transaction. Rather, Nectar of Instruction, text number 4, ends with the words Priti Lakshanam. So these 6 exchanges are loving exchanges. So instead of you feeling indebted, consider this as an opportunity to reciprocate with Krishna Prasad or Prabhupada books when your friends and family give you something. On the point of asking for help, if you are asking for Krishna's service sake, then it is okay to ask. If you are asking for personal help, then you can avoid. Now, I'll give you my own personal example that for all those devotees around Toronto who come for doing services with me so many times, I have asked to do some task or buy something on your way. And all these have been for Krishna's service. Therefore, it is okay. And many times, devotees will call me that when I am coming to temple or for services, if I can please buy milk or cream or ice cubes or whatever item is needed for service. So these are okay. They are not taking service from me. Rather, they are engaging me in Krishna's service. So focus on reciprocation and focus on service. These are Priti Lakshanam, loving exchanges. Then you are perfect. Does that answer the inquiry? Question number 9, multi-part question. Being an introvert, it is so hard for me to open up my mind, even with devotees. I also do not feel like sharing my realizations just because I do not want to speak up. So, Guhyam Akhyati is so difficult for me. How can I improve, or is it okay to be like this way? I will answer this first part right now and then we'll move to the second part. So it is a matter of finding the right devotee with whom you can share. The devotee who has asked this question, even though is saying has introvert nature and probably is correct, still this devotee has actually discussed personal situations with me multiple times. So it's a matter of finding the right devotee with whom you find comfort. Now, many places in Srimad Bhagavatam, devotees have prayed for devotee association. We'll read those verses right now. Example, in Bhagavatam 4.9.11, pure devotee Dhruv Maharaj prays for devotee association. Prithu Maharaj and incarnation of the Lord asks to hear Krishna Katha in devotee association. It's Srimad Bhagavatam 4.20.24. And Shiva, while reciting the very famous Rudra Gita, says similarly about devotee association in 4.24.57 and 58. So we will soon read all these verses that we don't have to be like this. We should hanker for devotee association. Now, right now, we may still be developing ourselves and in a neophyte state, in a Kanishta Adhikari level state. Yes, we may have that inclination that I am only focused on worshipping Gopinath in the temple. So this is Kanishta Adhikari level, lower level. And we have to come to Madhyam Adhikari level, where the four characteristics of Madhyam Adhikari are: the Madhyam Adhikari knows Krishna as the object of worship, makes friends with devotees, showers mercy on innocent, and avoids atheist. So devotee association is very important. It is stressed many places in Srimad Bhagavatam. Monarch, would you like to read all these verses? So first is 4, 9, 11 translation. So pure devotee Dhruv Maharaj is seeking devotee association.
Hare Krishna. Translation. Dhruv Maharaj continued, O unlimited Lord, kindly bless me so that I may associate with great devotees who engage in your transcendental loving service constantly, as the waves of a river constantly flow. Such transcendental devotees are completely situated in an uncontaminated state of life. By the process of devotional service, we shall surely be able to cross the nascent ocean of material existence, which is filled with the waves of blazing fire-like dangers. It will be very easy for me, for I am becoming mad to hear about your transcendental qualities and pastimes, which are eternally existent.
So hold on. So Dhruv Maharaj is asking. So he's asking Krishna directly. The Vishnu who appeared in front of him is saying these prayers directly to Vishnu. All right. So now we have 420.24. So this is Prithu Maharaj asking the same benediction. Malti, you want to read translation?
Hare Krishna. My dear Lord, I therefore do not wish to have a benediction of margining into your existence, the benediction in which there is no existence of the nectarine beverage of your lotus feet. I want the benediction of list 1 million years, for thus I may be able to hear about the glories of your lotus feet from the mouth of your pure devotees. Hare
Right?
Krishna.
So Prithu Maharaj is saying, I want million years so I can hear from your devotees. So again, devotee association. So now I have 4.24.57. So this is Rudra Gita. Parth Prabhu, you want to read the translation, 4.24.57.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Four point 24.57. Am I audible?
Yeah.
If one by chance associate with the devotee, even for a fraction of a moment, he no longer is subject to attraction by the result of karma or jnana. What interest then can he have in the benedictions of the demigods who are subject to the laws of the birth and death?
Right. So Rudra or Shiva is giving this instruction to the Prachetas, again, devotee association. So I also have 4.24.58. Follow me. You want to read translation?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Translation: My dear Lord, your lotus feet are the cause of all auspicious things and the destroyer of all the contamination of sin. I therefore beg your Lordship to bless me by the association of your devotees who are completely purified by worshipping your lotus feet and who are so merciful upon the conditioned souls. I think that your real benediction will be to allow me to associate with such devotees.
Right. So real benediction is devotee association. So this is only from Canto 4. There are so many references throughout Bhagavatam. This is stressed about devotee association. We should hanker for devotee association. Does that answer the first part? Although one devotee has asked, may apply to many.
Yes, Prabhuji, thank
Yes,
you.
Prabhuji.
And the second part of the question says, honestly, I never feel much desire to have devotee association. I do not know why. Even though these days I am very far from the temple and have not met any devotees, I feel like nothing is missing. While studying the scriptures, I feel that something may be wrong with me for not having the natural desire for devotee association. So all of you are getting devotee association via these virtual classes, and all of you are getting Srila Prabhupada's and Krishna's association via chanting, via reading the scriptures, via doing spiritual endeavors. So it's not that you are not getting any devotee association. No, you are getting devotee association. Yes, of course, there is a difference that when we go and do services at the temple, yeah, we do have physical association also. Still, I will repeat that we should hanker for devotee association. Everybody on the same page?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Right, thank you. Question number 10. From previous devotee inquiry discussion, if we try to convince family members to change diet without giving in, then won't it be a forceful thing to do? This may lead more to a tug of war and them resisting Krishna consciousness. Instead, won't it be simpler to separate my diet from theirs? So Krishna has advised in Bhagavad Gita 3.26 that do not disturb materialistic people. Just try to engage them in devotional service. So you do not need to be forceful. Now, each circumstance is different, and you are the best judge on how to engage others in Krishna's service. So what you can try is, you can try to give them prasadam. You can try to engage them in preparing bhoga offering. This is what Krishna has said in 3.26 Bhagavad Gita. So I have on the screen. Rupashri, you want to read 3.26 translation?
Sure, Prabhuji. So as not to disrupt the minds of ignorant men attached to the fruitive results of prescribed duties, a learned person should not induce them to stop work. Rather, by working in the spirit of devotion, he should engage them in all sorts of activities for the gradual development of Krishna consciousness.
Right, so visualize you are driving a car on a highway and you are taking the on ramp and you are merging or trying to merge with the ongoing traffic in the high speed lanes. So you are merging, right? Gradually merging. You don't forcefully just jump into the live lanes. So it's a gradual process. Similarly, you don't need to force anyone. Just try to engage them in Krishna's service, whatever is possible, and give them prasadam. That way, it's easy going. Does that answer the inquiry? So there's a question in the chat that other family members are not ready to leave onion and garlic. So how do I use them in preparation of daily diet? So Krishna's bhoga offering, you cannot have onion and garlic. So you'll have to separate it. You can engage your family members while you are preparing bhoga offering, say simple items like fruit or water or milk. And when you are offering these to Krishna, say water, you have a big pot at your home for your daily consumption, whatever that quantity of water you need, and the cup or the glass that you offer to Krishna, that becomes prasad. You add that water in that big pot, and your family member is honoring prasad. So first you have to take the first step of cleansing your family members by giving them prasad. Then you have to also explain to them that the foods, onion and garlic, are in the modes of ignorance. Therefore, we should avoid these. Otherwise, we are contaminating our body from inside. So you are the best bet to convince your family. I cannot go and convince your family. You have enough influence. You have enough knowledge from verses. You can tell them, look, up to now I did not know But now I know from scriptures that onion and garlic are foods in the mode of ignorance. Yes, they are vegetarian items, but still they are in the mode of ignorance. So why do we need to contaminate our body? Does that help with the inquiry and subsequent inquiry? All right, thank you. Question number 11. Can Mayavadis be considered as people having a stronger but different faith, like Christians or Muslims? I'm unable to understand why they are considered in same category as atheists. So Mayavadis have strong faith in believing Brahman effulgence is the highest and Krishna's form is temporary. Hence, they think one needs to transcend Krishna's form. Hence, this makes the Mayavadis offensive that they want to go beyond Krishna. Mayavadis are also strong in scriptural knowledge, the twisted scriptural knowledge. Christians and Muslims, by default, they are not Mayavadis. Atheist means one who does not believe in God. So Mayavadis and atheists are different categories, both being against God in different way. So there may be some overlap between them, but they are Mayavadis and atheists are individual categories on themselves, both being against God. Does that answer the inquiry? All right. Question number 12 would apply to many of you. Question 12 says, whenever I contribute to temple charity, I choose not to accept a tax receipt or claim it on my tax return. I believe that my donation is for Krishna, so why should I take back a portion of it? Please help me understand this. So we should try to follow Yukta Vairagya, means whatever is possible to be used in Krishna's service, we should take it and use it in Krishna's service because everything belongs to Krishna. We should not follow Falgu Vairagya. Falgu Vairagya means items that can be used in Krishna's service. I reject these items thinking I'll be attached or for whatever other reasons, one being given in the question. So the proper approach for charity receipts is to claim the charity receipts on your tax return as a deduction, and the refund that you get from the donation, you give that refund as additional charity to Krishna because that refund belongs to Krishna. I mean, everything belongs to Krishna to begin with. So you can separate out the calculation if you required of the refund associated with the donation to Krishna, and then that portion of the refund you can donate it further to Krishna. This will be following Yukta Vairagya, that whatever is possible to be used in Krishna's service, we take it and we use it in Krishna's service. So Sri Ishopanishad mantra number 1, which is also known as Ishavasya principle, means everything belongs to Krishna, says the same point, that everything belongs to Krishna and everything must be used in service of Krishna. So couple classes back, Pratyush Prabhu had recited this Ishopanishad mantra number 1 Sanskrit and the translation. Shruti, would you like to recite Ishopanishad mantra number 1 in Sanskrit and then translation, or you want me to first recite the Sanskrit, then you can follow?
Yes, Prabhuji, I can follow you.
Okay, so let me first recite the whole Ishopanishad, mantra number 1. Ishavashyam idam sarvam yat kincha jagatyam jagat tena taktena bhunjita magrat kasya swidhanam. Shruti?
Hare Krishna. Prabhuji, should I recite this Sanskrit question?
Yeah, Sanskrit and then translation.
Okay. Ishawasyam idam sarvam yat kinchat jagatyam jagat tena tyaktena punjitha ma radha kasyasvid dhanam.
Very good.
Translation. Everything animate or inanimate that is within the universe is controlled and owned by the Lord. One should therefore accept only those things necessary for himself, which are set aside as his quota, and one should not accept other things, knowing well to whom they belong.
Right? Everything belongs to Krishna. And you should use it in Krishna's service. Does that answer the inquiry?
Yes, Prabhuji, I've never considered that. Now I'm going to start doing it. Thank you.
Very good. Yeah. So we are
Thank
here to transform ourselves. So thank you for asking the very practical inquiry, which applies to many, not just one devotee. Everybody on the
Thank you.
same page? All right. Question number 13 is on Purushottam Mass coming up from this Sunday. Question 13 says, can you please explain the significance of Purushottam Mass? So Purushottam Mass is an extra lunar month in the Hindu calendar dedicated to Lord Vishnu, observed for spiritual growth and devotion. The spiritual tasks that you have been pushing aside for whatever reason, that I am procrastinating for all the spiritual tasks, this Purushottam Mass is the time to get back on spiritual track. So during Purushottam Mass, devotees engage in various spiritual practices such as chanting the Hare Krishna Mahamantra, scriptural reading like Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavatam, fasting, doing charity, doing services, etc. So this Purushottam Mass is traditionally not suitable for major worldly events such as marriages or housewarming or starting some new ventures. Rather, the focus is on inner discipline, inner devotion, and spiritual alignment, and not the external achievements. So the history is that lunar calendar has 12 months, and each month has a presiding deity, a demigod, who claims it, protects that month, and gives it a purpose. Then the 13th month appears every 32 or 33 months as an extra month that the calendar needs to stay aligned with the sun. So this extra month is, or this Purushottam month is also called as Adhik Mas. Adhik means extra, something I didn't had it originally in the schedule. So because it's the 13th and an Adhik Mas or an extra month, so nobody chooses this. Nobody wanted it. So priest would not schedule prayers during this Adhik Mas or during this 13th month. Now, families would not plan weddings during it. So Therefore, it has this name Adhik Mas or Mal Mas, meaning the dirty month or unwanted month. So this rejected or unclaimed month, the deity for this month did something brave, that the demigod of the 13th month went to Lord Vishnu and said, "Oh my Lord, I have nothing, no one wants me. Therefore, I have come to you because I have nowhere else to go." So Lord Vishnu, who has always had particular softness for what the world has pushed aside, without thinking further, Lord Vishnu said, "Well, then you, the 13th month, you belong to me." And Lord Vishnu gave his own name, Purushottam, to this 13th month or the Adhik Mas, meaning the highest form of God. He declared, means Vishnu declared, that whatever takes the whole year for a sincere effort in other months can happen in a single moment of genuinely turning your spiritual path in this month. So the month initially that had been called impure because nobody wanted it with the 13th number and Adhik Mas as an extra month, all of a sudden became in an instant the most spiritually potent month in the entire calendar with the name Purushottam Mas. So Lord Vishnu gave this month his own name, Purushottam. The Supreme Person, he declared that in this month, what takes a lifetime of scattered spiritual effort becomes possible through a single moment of sincere turning towards the divine. So the month that had been called dirty or unwanted or inauspicious, without a name worth keeping, became in an instant the most spiritually surcharged month in the Hindu calendar, known as Purushottam Mas. So whatever spiritual activities that you have been pushing aside for procrastinating, this is the time to pick those activities up and get back on spiritual track. So the Purushottam month starts from this Sunday, May 17th, and goes on for about 1 month. Everybody on the same page? Does that answer the inquiry?
Thank you, Prabhuji. I learned something.
Thank you for listening with rapt attention. All right. Question number 14. For a neophyte devotee, what is the practical minimum way to begin following the Dadati principle? A devotee stays far away from ISKCON temple. How does the Dadati principle can be applied when there is no local devotee company and only online Zoom meetings? So the devotee living far from devotees can try to personally meet some devotees, say from our classes, when we come to the Toronto temple. Example, many of us come to the Toronto temple for services, for events, or Sunday feast generally once a month. Or you can try to meet devotees in person during festival days such as Rath Yatra, Janmashtami. Or try to meet devotees when there is a home program at some devotee's home. So that the devotee has some face-to-face connection once in a while. And for rest of the year, the devotee who is far away physically can always connect via video calls on Zoom, WhatsApp, or whatever other means are possible. Does that help with the inquiry?
Prabhuji,
Yeah.
my question is that in that last conclusion paragraph in that text 4, it's talking about the 50% given by an advanced devotee. And he's there quoting, I don't know, the Sri Rupa Goswami, I think. He gave 50%.
Yeah.
So how does a neophyte devotee in this situation apply that thing?
So,
and why it's not equally divided, like 1/3, 1/3, 1/3, like?
Yeah. So the scriptures, the goal that the Goswami has given, take that as a goal. Does not necessarily mean that I am doing all those activities at that level, like spending 50% for Krishna right now. So you start from wherever you are and keep growing. These goals, they are not meant to dishearten you. Rather, they are your goals to where you have to move to. So in this 50% for Krishna, you can actually include your home, that you make your home as Krishna's temple and you invite devotees for Krishna Katha. Then whatever cost you are incurring for maintaining the home actually gets towards the 50% of your money that you need to use for Krishna. And 25% is for family, and remaining 25 is for your emergency. So in terms of your question that why it's not equal, is because you are trying to give the bigger share to Krishna. Right? You also have responsibility to maintain your family. You also have responsibility to take care of your body. But more, don't get very hung up on this exact number. Try to make your home as a temple. So whatever you are doing for your home, either you are paying rent, either you are paying mortgage or loan, you are doing it for Krishna. It all counts there. Provided you worship Krishna every day at your home, you invite devotees for Krishna Katha, for serving them, for giving them prasadam. And then you will realize that actually you don't even have to count for 50%. Your entire earnings, you are using it in Krishna's service. So where's the question of even dividing? Padma Kumar, does that help you?
Yes, Prabhu. We can apply that.
All right, thank you. Last question for today. So it's a pretty long question. And the gist of the question is that why Mayavadis are being strongly condemned that that it's like feeding milk to a snake. That why such harsh language? Yes, understand that there are different philosophies, and there's a reference to Shankaracharya, who has actually composed very beautiful devotional hymns, such as Bhaja Govindam. So, those with COVID disease were isolated from public to minimize exposure to the disease. During the COVID isolation, trained doctors, they still physically met with those with COVID disease to cure them. Similarly, Mayavad is a disease, the disease of misconception. Therefore, Srila Prabhupada is using strong language to protect us. In Bhagavad Gita also, Srila Prabhupada has used strong language that if you meet Mayavadi, immediately you should go and take a dip and a bath in the Ganges. So the strong language is not to isolate those with Mayavad conception. Rather, that senior devotees capable of handling Mayavadis without getting infected with Mayavad can interact with Mayavadis when it is required. Exactly like the doctors interacting with those having COVID disease. Now, this Shankaracharya is going to be an eye-opener, at least for some of you, that Shankaracharya is actually Shiva. Krishna asked Shiva to preach Mayavad philosophy as Shankaracharya, because just before this, Buddhism was widespread and there were so many other philosophical views that were prevalent. So Buddhism, you know that Krishna came as Buddha and drove everyone away from Vedas. So all of a sudden, there were so many different philosophical views prevalent. To bring all of them under one umbrella, Krishna asked Shiva to preach Mayavad as Shankaracharya. And then later, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Krishna himself, came to defeat Mayavad in one shot. So instead of defeating all those different philosophies one by one, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came and defeated Mayavad in one shot. So all philosophies got defeated in one shot. As well as Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu also came to fast forward Krishna consciousness. So the sequence is there were many philosophies, including Buddhism. They were all brought under one umbrella of Mayavad, and latest is Krishna consciousness. So accept the latest. Just as in Bhagavad Gita 18.66, Krishna says, abandon whatever I have said so far in Bhagavad Gita. This last instruction in Bhagavad Gita 18.66 is the most confidential knowledge. Therefore, accept this. Now, Srila Prabhupada one time gave instruction to his disciple, and another time, Srila Prabhupada gave exact opposite instruction to the same disciple. So this disciple being confused with instruction, like which instruction to follow. And he asked Srila Prabhupada that, Srila Prabhupada, your previous instruction contradicts with the latest instruction, so please guide me. And Srila Prabhupada said, take the latest instruction as final. Similarly, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's instruction for all of us on Krishna consciousness is the latest. Therefore, take Krishna consciousness. Now, Shiva as Shankaracharya also wrote Mayavad commentary on Bhagavad Gita because Krishna asked Shiva to do this. But Shiva as Shankaracharya avoided commenting on Srimad Bhagavatam because Shiva clearly knew Srimad Bhagavatam is Krishna himself. So Shiva as Shankaracharya preached Mayavad philosophy for a little while just to satisfy Krishna's desire. And then Shiva, even as Shankaracharya, composed many beautiful songs. One of them is there in the question, praising Krishna, many beautiful songs praising Krishna, because after all, Shankaracharya is actually Shiva, the greatest Vaishnava. Does that answer the inquiry?
Prabhuji, just to add onto this question a bit, I don't understand why did Krishna take birth as Buddha to divert so much from the Vedas and then take birth again in the form of Shankaracharya to expound Mayavad philosophy when that is not the right way to go about it. So why create such divergence in the first place? Why not just make sure that Buddha kept following the word of the Vedas?
So understand that Krishna does not interfere with our free will. So people use their free will to misuse Vedas for satisfying their tongue's taste. So Krishna had to appear as Buddha and divert everyone, saying, don't follow Vedas, follow me. Krishna had to appear as Buddha to stop all the killing of innocent animals. So Krishna does not interfere with our free will. Whatever jiva are doing, Krishna comes to rectify those. Of course, there are instructions to follow properly. Some jiva follow properly and they go back home, back to Godhead. Your other point about why not Krishna did something properly in the first place. Brahmaji, who's the first born living entity, Brahmaji, whose entire body is largely made of intelligence. Then Narad Muni, who is also a pure devotee, in Canto 4 towards the end, Narad Muni says in one of the verses that Brahmaji, Narada himself, Shiva, these are all great personalities. But it is not possible to know Krishna. And if you recall Bhagavad Gita chapter 13 discussion, chapter 13 verses 13 to 19, where Krishna is answering Arjuna's Geyam question. Geyam means the object of knowledge. And Krishna himself concludes that Geyam is avigeyam, means the knowable is unknowable. And this point that it is impossible to know Krishna is actually there in many places in Bhagavatam also. Brahmaji actually says this multiple places. In Canto 4 towards the end, Narad Muni says this. It's impossible to understand Krishna. And he says, best is that you wholeheartedly surrender to Krishna and continue to follow the plan of the Lord. And Narad Muni in Canto 4 gives this analogy that Krishna tells the thief, you go and steal money from so-and-so house. And simultaneously, Krishna also guides and tells the grahastha, lock your door, be protective. Somebody will coming to steal you from your house. So these will look contradictory, that Krishna is doing both sides, guiding them completely opposite. And in the purport, Prabhupada says that it's not possible to understand Krishna. We don't have to try. Our brains are not capable to understand Krishna. We are discussed in 4.16, 17, 18 Bhagavad Gita that our tiny brains cannot understand karma. How is it possible for us to even imagine to understand Krishna who is infinite? And the instruction for all of us is best is to just surrender to the Lord wholeheartedly and continue to engage in devotional service. Does that help you?
Yes, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
So I can bring up this verse on the screen and we can read this. It's Canto 4, chapter 17, verse number 36. Let me bring up on screen. So I have it on the screen. And we'll get Raksha to read the translation and the purport. So we have 4:17:36, Raksha, translation and purport.
Hare Krishna. My dear Lord, I am also the creation of one of your energies, composed of the three modes of material nature. Consequently, I am bewildered by your activities. Even the activities of your devotees cannot be understood, and what to speak of your pastimes. Thus, everything appears to us to be contradictory and wonderful.
Right, so the translation itself says that everything appears contradictory. I am bewildered by your activities. Continue, purport.
Purport. The activities of the Supreme Personality of Godhead in his various forms and incarnations are always uncommon and wonderful. It is not possible for a tiny human being to estimate the purpose and plans of such activities. Therefore, Srila Jiva Goswami has said that unless the Lord's activities are accepted as inconceivable, they cannot be explained. The Lord is eternally existing as Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead in Goloka Vrindavan. He has also simultaneously expanded himself in innumerable forms, beginning with Lord Ram, Lord Narsimha, Lord Varaha, and all the incarnation coming directly from Sankarshana. Sankarshana is the expansion of Baladeva, and Baladeva is the first manifestation of Krishna. Therefore, all these incarnations are known as Kala. The word Ishvaranam refers to all the personalities of Godhead. As stated in Brahma Samhita 5.39, Ramadi Murtisu Kala Niyamena Tisthan. In the Srimad Bhagavatam, it is confirmed that all the incarnations are partial expansions or Kala of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. However, Krishna is the original Supreme Personality of Godhead. One should not take the plural number of the word Ishvaranam to mean that there are many Godheads. The fact is that God is one, but he exists eternally and expands himself in innumerable forms and acts in various ways. Sometimes the common man is bewildered by all this and considers such activities contradictory, but they are not contradictory. There is a great plan behind all the Lord's activities. For our understanding, it is sometimes said that the Lord is situated in the heart of the thief as well as in the heart of the householder, and that the super soul in the heart of the thief dictates, go and steal things from that particular house. And at the same time, the Lord tells the householder, now be careful of thieves and burglars. These instructions to different persons appear contradictory, yet we should know that the super soul, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, has some plan, and we should not consider such activities contradictory. The best course is to surrender unto the Supreme Personality of Godhead wholeheartedly, and being protected by Him, remain peaceful. Thus ends the Bhaktivedanta purport of the 4th canto, 17th chapter of the Srimad Bhagavatam, entitled Maharaj Prithu Becomes Angry at the Earth. Hare
And
Krishna.
so instructions appear contradictory, but the best course for us is to surrender wholeheartedly. And Jiva Goswami says at the start we read, unless you understand that Lord's activities are inconceivable, they cannot be explained. Pratyush, everybody, does that help?
Prabhuji, I'm sorry. It kind of just added to my confusion a bit. Uh, so, since Mayavad philosophy is different and it's contradictory from our philosophy, so does that mean that it's wrong?
So Mayavad
Seems contradictory
philosophy,
and just let it be. Like, how should we view it?
yeah. So Mayavad philosophy says that Krishna's form is temporary and the Brahman effulgence is the highest. But because Brahman effulgence does not have a form and we are so used to seeing and associating with forms, therefore, Mayavadis say that you right now meditate on this Krishna's temporary form and then go beyond Krishna. So Mayavad philosophy is absolutely incorrect on both fronts. That first they're saying Krishna's form is temporary. Well, it's not temporary. They say that Brahman effulgence is highest. Well, it's not highest. You read 14.27. Krishna says, I am the basis of Brahman effulgence, not the other way around. And the biggest problem with Mayavad philosophy is that they want to go beyond Krishna. So it is wrong at many fronts. Pratyush.
Yes, Prabhuji, understood.
Everybody on the same page?
Yes, Prabhuji.
So Maria says, are the Mayavadis then not talking against scriptures? So yes, they are talking against scriptures. What Mayavadis do is Mayavadis are very knowledgeable on scripture. So they impose their thought process on the scriptures and then they say, no, only this portion of the scripture is correct. Rest of the scriptures you ignore. So they try to twist the scriptures. So today we spend a lot of time on Mayavad. Basically stay away from Mayavad. Just focus on Krishna consciousness. So I have highlighted this earlier and I'll again have on the screen that at batch 3 and 4 from 24th May Sunday, devotees are going to do bigger presentation and many of the topics are very important that all of you should try to attend. For example, the very first topic is on Bhagavad Gita chapter 2 verses 54 to 72. These are very practical verses for our day-to-day sadhakas. Then for you at least, we have Nectar of Instruction text 2 and 3 coming. Then you also have Bhagavad Gita Chatur Shloki verses, and there are more topics getting populated very, very soon. Coming up, the topics for others which are going to be of your relevance. So I request all of you to please try to attend. Take a snapshot of what you have on the screen, and I will share when the rest of the blanks get populated. Share again. Try to attend these classes. So they are on Sundays Toronto time 7 a.m., India time 4:30 p.m., and Nepal time 4:45 p.m. If you cannot attend virtually, by all means take the recording, because these are going to be out of the world presentations by devotees. Devotees have done a lot of preparation for all of these, and you will be amazed with the effort level of the devotees for doing these presentations. Everybody can please try.
Yes, Prabhuji.
Yes,
Yes,
Prabhuji.
Prabhuji.
Thank you. So as I said that very soon batch 5 of Bhagavatam will get merged with batch 3 and 4 sometime end of July, and then we will plan to start a new batch of Bhagavad Gita. Many of you do preaching, so this is the time. Try your preaching. So we did discuss in one of the purport today, Prabhupada says, do preaching. Then the waves of material world will stop. So when you do preaching, for example, Mansi and Monarch, they are generally always at the temple, at the book table. So whosoever takes Bhagavad Gita, take their number. So instead of just giving my number, better is you take their number or set up a conference call. Because if you just give them my number and tell them to call me, they don't have taste. So generally they don't call at all. But if you take their number, also share my number, but then set up a conference call with me or ask me to call them, then it becomes a little hook that we try to hook them to bring them closer to Krishna. All of you can please take a look at your list of contacts, your friends and family. And if you think you have received even the tiniest of benefit from our Bhagavad Gita discussion, then try to share. That's the nature of a devotee. Prabhupada says that don't just study for yourself, share it with others. So share it with others. And my Guru Maharaj says, spirituality is the only bank account that grows by giving. What did I say? Spirituality is the only bank account that grows by giving. So try your best. There's no worry about results. Try your best with your friends and family to get them started on Bhagavad Gita. I will share the next recording and a link to populate your stacking points and inquiries. Any questions, comments, realizations before we stop? Hare Krishna, everybody.
Hare Krishna. Thank you,
Hare
Prabhuji.
Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.